The lovely thing about diabetes is that you can't always predict when you're going to be sick or how your body is going to respond when you're sick, right? So we can do all this prep work, but sometimes life will throw a little wrench in. That does not mean not to do the prep work, because you'll be better off with the prep work, right? You'll be better off knowing, hey, this is what worked last time. Let's try this again this time.
So after sick day, definitely helpful to go back and look at the experience and your data. And this is really a good place to bring in your healthcare provider as well, so that you guys can do data analysis together. Because you're gonna get a cold again if that's what you had. You're gonna get a sore throat again.
Every sickness is not the same and every person is not the same either, but looking at those patterns is always really helpful.
I think one of the best actual secrets of the diabetes world is that you don't have to wait to see your doctor for them to do a blood sugar review. You can do as many as you'd like in between visits. We can do so much with kind of looking at what worked, what didn't work, and then tailoring that to our future plans.
Like COVID, for example, which I just had last week, I was getting frustrated a couple weeks ago because my blood sugar was just sitting at like 170. It wouldn't come down. It was just sitting always at like 170, which would make sense. My body was trying to like start to fight off an infection, right? Like, and it wasn't using insulin the same way, or my liver was shooting out more sugar than usual. So it totally makes sense biologically, like that would happen.
Personally, I have a diabetes note in my my notes on my phone. So if there's any little pattern that I'm noticing, right, whether it's, high blood sugars at a certain time of day, or, something just different than normal, I will just immediately go and jot it down in my notes. Sometimes, inevitably, nothing comes of it and it was just a one-time thing, but every once in a while I'll catch on to a pattern where I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I do need more insulin at this time of day, or maybe I do need to decrease this setting in my pump at a certain time of day.
I still would definitely recommend calling your provider, because that's what they're there for. They want to help you.
Your provider can pinpoint more technical trends that they saw on their end when it comes to like your actual trends and graphs. And that way you guys can then work towards, maybe you do have a sick day profile.
But within our tech systems, we can have profiles for really any situation that arises. And a common one that we see a lot, particularly with college students, young adults, is the hangover effect. It happens to everybody at some point. We consume too much alcohol, and therefore it would be helpful to have a profile in place to be able to run afterward, so that your blood sugars can run a little more smoothly.
Even for people with multiple daily injections, you can still create a sick day profile. It's just gonna be, manual injections, and you'll have that printout, but that's also a great way to kind of have that in the background in case you ever need it.
So just a reminder, if you've just recently been sick, right, you've likely used some of the supplies in your sick day kit. So a good rule of thumb is, after you've been sick, do a quick little inventory in your sick day kit and take note of what you don't have, restock it.
I become a very avid user of Google Calendar. And so if, I had just been sick, what helps me a lot is going onto my GCal and making myself a reminder, or like making an event later that week to go out and buy the supplies. Because if it's not in the calendar, I'll probably forget to do it. I guess that's also something that I kind of give myself grace for a little period of time, but having that reminder in place is helpful and very important.
So that sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, but we're not trying to eliminate the sick day, right? But the big key is making sure we keep the symptoms and keep the sickness in a controlled place, rather than saying, okay, well, I'm not going to take extra insulin, I'm not going to be prepared, and then that's when it really can get to the DKA situation, which we want to, of course, try to avoid, because it is such a dangerous place to be.
As you experience more sick days as a diabetic, it gets easier each time.
Having a prepared kit, having a basal rate ready to go just alleviates a lot of thinking and stress when all you want to do is sleep and drink and get rest and get better. So super exhausting to figure out at first, but definitely worth it in the long run.